Shanghai doesn't ask you to keep up, it asks you to feel it. On one side you have the ancient city whispering 1,000 years of history, on the other you have the Pearl Tower shooting 1,500 feet into the clouds. Today isn't about rushing, it's about the contrast. We're trading the skyscrapers for nature and the tourist buses for the back alleys and 2 feet. This is Shanghai. Old soul, new body. Let's get out and about. Just let me finish this cup of tea first. We start on the metro, from a single line in 1993 to the planet's busiest subway system, with 10 million journeys made every day. The Shanghai Metro is more than just transit, it's the heartbeat of a megacity. It has a total of 21 lines, 532 stations, and it is the total length of 890 kilometres, which is bigger than London and New York systems combined. And in the next 5 years they plan to add another 700 kilometres worth of line. Shanghai was the third city in China to get a metro, and today there are over 50 Chinese cities with one. It is a high-tech marvel. 5 lines are fully automated and driverless, and every single line has full 5G coverage. It is seamlessly connected into the high-speed rail network, airports, and has the world's fastest commercial maglev train hitting 430 kilometers an hour, which you can check out in episode 1 of this series. Our first stop, Jing'an District. Here our journey starts at the district's namesake, Jing'an Temple. First built during the Three Kingdoms period in 247 AD, this Buddhist site has a history of more than 1,770 years. The temple you see today is a modern reconstruction built in 1983 after the site was razed and turned into a plastic factory during the Cultural Revolution, and was rebuilt in a Song dynasty architectural style. It's famous for its grand golden roofs, and thankfully sits peacefully in the shadow of skyscrapers on the West Nanjing Road, one of Shanghai's premier shopping business districts. The area is home to a huge number of multinational companies and luxury brand headquarters, with a powerful economy that has made Jing'an a magnet for global fashion and finance. And yet the district is also known for its vibrant local life, full of cosy cafes, stylish boutiques, and some of the city's best restaurants. Hey, ni hao. South of the temple there's a grand avenue of 32 towering plane trees that lead us to Jing'an Park. This isn't just a patch of green, it's a story of rebirth that tells us everything about the soul of this city. For over 50 years the serene oasis was a foreign cemetery known as the Bubbling Well Cemetery, and in 1954 the city reclaimed the space, transforming these 33,900 square metres into a park, opening it up to everyone. The beautiful plane trees lining the central walkway are the only surviving features of that past. Living monuments standing guard over the city's history. Here, pussy, pussy. Today it's a public sanctuary. Locals practice Tai Chi and play keep 'em up under the canopy of the centuries-old trees. Hey, ni hao. Have lunch at a Thai restaurant with seating around the lotus pond, or work out in the gym. And a statue of Kai Yuan Pei, who is an influential Chinese philosopher, educator and politician, who is widely recognised as a key reformer of modern education in China, adds a touch of scholarly to the park. Inside, you'll even find the 8 Views Garden, a miniature wonderland of classic Chinese design, blending perfectly with the modern energy outside. Ni hao. Ni hao. Ni hao. The Jing'an 8 Views Garden uses 8 historical views as a main attraction. Ni hao. Ni hao. Employing traditional Chinese landscape design techniques such as large scale and shallow depth of field to organically combine them into a new garden. It is not a simple reproduction of historical and cultural landscape, but a unique and ingenious creative work. Even though not large, its layout is compact. The landscaping, water features, flowers and trees are exquisitely arranged, and the buildings are appropriately sized, making it a masterpiece of garden design. We leave the park to the south and head directly to the heart of one of Shanghai's most atmospheric neighbourhoods, a place often called the very soul of Shanghai, the former French Concession. On April 6, 1849, the French consul in Shanghai secured a proclamation from a local official carving out the new French settlement. Initially a modest 986 acres, the concession expanded over the decades, eventually becoming the largest, most prosperous of its kind in China. For nearly a century until 1943, this area was a semi-autonomous French-run enclave, a miniature slice of Europe with its own laws, police force, and distinct identity. At its height, it is a luxurious premier residential district. But the French concession is more than just a history lesson. Wandering the streets today, you feel that history all around you. The experience is defined by its beauty. Wide, tranquil boulevards shaded by a canopy of mature plane trees lining the quiet streets. Today, while the colonial era is long over, the spirit of the French Connection is alive and well, and it has been reborn as one of the city's most vibrant and beloved destinations. Instead of fading away, it has seamlessly blended its vintage charm and modern urban living. Here is another one of Shanghai's lungs. This is Xi'an Park, and came to be thanks to a disagreement of what this land should be used for by the French and Russian Orthodox Church, who owned the land either side. In the end, the French decided to build a park and planted these row of trees in 1942. Today, their wide branches knit the canopy overhead, as they are still the park's soul, casting shifting shadows on the geometric flower beds below. At the end, you'll find a hexagonal pavilion, a classic Chinese touch to the European setting, where you'll find these Chinese men chatting. This is a perfect spot to put my feet up and have a break. We continue east along Huaihai Road, a buzzing 5.5km long commercial avenue that runs right through the heart of the district. Do you notice the number plates on the cars? Well, that is a good way to tell how many EVs are around in China. A green number plate shows that it is an electric vehicle or plug-in hybrid, and blue is for combustion engines and traditional hybrid cars. Shanghai leads the Chinese cities in EV adoption, with top-tier city penetration exceeding 60%. They offer easier to obtain license plates for new energy vehicles, whereas petrol car plates are limited, expensive and auctioned, driving consumers towards EVs. It makes for a cleaner and quieter city. Though these gardeners didn't get the memo. Continuing east, we get to Yu Gardens, which dates back to 1559. where a government official built a private garden for his parents and called it the Garden of Peace, Yuan. Over time, just like now, people visited this area and a market formed. And today, that market is centred around Yuan Old Street. The street's architecture is a story. You'll find a beautiful fusion of styles. The eastern section still retains the characteristic houses of the late Qing dynasty, an early Republican period, while the western section showcases the classic look of the Ming and Qing dynasties, with their lattice windows and painted tables. In the 21st century, Yuan Old Street has masterfully reinvented itself while preserving its historical soul. It has embraced the Gaochu and the China chic movement. It now features immersive theatres, creative pop-up stores and dazzling night markets. One of the most spectacular modern traditions is the annual Yuan Lantern Festival, held every spring festival. The street transforms into a sea of light with giant illuminated lanterns, bringing ancient Chinese myths and legends to life. For over 100 years, Yuan Old Street has been the place to go for traditional Chinese tea, silks and of course, local delicious snack. Okay, I'm off to lunch with a hubby. I'll meet you guys at People's Park and we'll make our way to the Bund and a ferry over the Huangpu River. People's Park is located in the Huangpu district, just north of People's Square and beside the famous Nanjing Road shopping street. Today it is known as one of the city's main urban parks, a place to relax, socialise and observe everyday life. But its origins are very different. The park was officially created in 1952, but before that the land was part of the Shanghai Race Club. Established by British settlers in the 19th century, horse racing and gambling attracted both foreign elites and wealthy locals. But for many Chinese residents, the space represented exclusion and inequality. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the government banned gambling and horse racing. The former racetrack was transformed into a public space for everyone, divided into the People's Park in the north and the People's Square in the south. This transformation wasn't just physical, it symbolised a shift from colonial control to public ownership. This cost us seen better days. The park has also played a role in modern political history. Through 1986 to 89, thousands of students gathered here to call for political reform. These events show that the park has been more than just a leisure space. It is a site for public expression. Today, however, People's Park is best known for another form of public expression, the so-called marriage market. Since the early 2000s, parents have gathered here on weekends to post handwritten profiles of their adult children, hoping to find them a suitable partner, as today there are 30 million more men than women in China, so competition is fierce. It's a fascinating mix of tradition and modern Chinese life. If only someone would tell them gay is the way.
Bumper cars.
Another tradition is the English Corner, which began in 1970. People would meet to practice speaking English with strangers, especially foreigners. Although less popular today, it reflects China's opening up to the world during that period. Physically, the park blends classical Chinese garden design with modern urban elements. Visitors can find ponds with lotus flowers, shaded walkways, pavilions, small attractions like museums, cafes, and amusement parks. So, while it may look just like a park, People's Park is really a snapshot of Shanghai, where politics, culture and ordinary life all come together in a shared space. This is Zhijiang Road Bridge. Crossing Suzhou Creek at first glance is just a busy crossing, but in 1937 this bridge became a front row seat to one of the most heroic last stands of the Second Sino-Japanese War. In late October 1937, the 3-month Battle of Shanghai was ending in retreat for the Chinese forces. As the army pulled back, Lieutenant Colonel Shi Jingyuan was ordered to hold a position to cover the retreat and to impress an international audience watching from the foreign concessions across the creek. His command post was the Sihang Warehouse, a massive concrete building located just northwest of this bridge. The building was perfect for a siege, leading 420 soldiers but famously claiming to be 800 heroes. She refused to surrender. As Japanese forces swarmed the north bank of the bridge, the defenders fought with devastating effect. The battle was so close that civilians on the south side of the creek could watch the fighting unfold. At one point, a young Chinese girl, Yang Humin, braved sniper fire to cross the creek and deliver a national flag to the warehouse, which was then hoisted to the cheers of all who saw it. After 4 days of defiance and heavy Japanese casualties, Lieutenant Colonel Shi was finally ordered to withdraw to the international zone under the cover of darkness. The defenders used the Shishan Bridge to retreat to safety, ending the siege but beginning a long and often tragic captivity for the survivors. Today, the Sihang Warehouse still stands next to the Shishan Bridge. Its western wall remains scarred with bullet holes from the battle, a silent monument to a group of heroes who proved that the spirit of China could not be broken, even on the edge of defeat. We watched a Chinese movie about this, and it showed the ROC flag being raised, and I'd heard that they still flew one, but as you can see, the flagpoles are empty, and for some reason these party members decided to pose with their communist one in the main entry. It's 100% designed for Chinese people with zero English translation, so make sure you bring your translator if you want to experience this. Okay, we're going to continue our march east along the Suzhou Creek. We'll scout out the north and south banks and see if there's any more commies. Sorry, the music went to my head. Let's bring back the calm Chinese music now. Yes! We are walking down the border of the old international concession. For nearly a century, from 1843 to 1943, a truly unique and extraordinary political entity existed in the heart of Shanghai. It was the Shanghai International Settlement, a place where Chinese imperial law existed alongside Western codes and where foreigners governed a population that was overwhelmingly Chinese. The settlement's roots lie in the First Opium War and the 1842 Treaty of Nanjing, which forced China to open 5 treaty ports to foreign trade. British, American and French citizens were granted land north of the old walled Chinese city. In 1863, the British and American settlements merged to form the core of the international settlement. The French, being the French, opted out to maintain their own concession. The settlement was managed not by colonial power, but the Shanghai Municipal Court, or SMC. Born from a meeting of foreign councils in 1854, the SMC was a self-funded body elected by foreign property owners. At the time, the mixed court, staffed by both Chinese and foreign judges, handled legal cases involving Chinese nationals. It was a form of transnational colonialism, a unique experiment in governance beyond the direct control of any single empire. And what an experiment it was. By the 1920s and 30s, the small enclave had transformed Shanghai into the dazzling, chaotic and cosmopolitan Paris of the East. The Bund became a monumental skyline of western banks and trading houses. The city buzzed with American jazz and welcomed thousands of European Jews fleeing persecution. But beneath the glamour was a system built on privilege, with the Chinese majority denied any meaningful political power. That system would not survive the turmoil of the 20th century. With the Japanese occupation of Shanghai in 1937 and the full seizure of the settlement in December 1941, ended the foreign era. In 1943, the international settlement was formally abolished, but its legacy, its architecture, its spirit remains etched into the fabric of modern Shanghai.
Hi, welcome to the Bund.
This is where the contrast of Shanghai is on full show. Its western side features 52 preserved historical buildings built between the 1860s and 1930s in styles from neoclassical to Art Deco, and the eastern side is the Liujiazi skyline, the tallest building in China, with the J Hotel at the very top, where we stayed. You can check that out in episode 2 of this series. The word Bund comes from the Anglo-Indian word meaning embankment on muddy water. That muddy embankment now gets 50 million visitors a year and stretches for 1.6 kilometers along Shanghai's Huangpu River. Those old colonial banks and trading houses are now luxury retailers, hotels, corporate headquarters and the Shanghai History Museum. At night, a coordinated LED lighting system illuminates both the historic facades and the modern towers. The Bund remains a working waterfront with active cruise ship piers and the Ferry, which is the last stop for this video. Next video we're off to the world's most populated city of Chongqing, so make sure you're subscribed. Before a bridge was built in 1991, there was only one way to cross the Huangpu River: by boat. The Shanghai ferry system started services 1911 and was the world's busiest ferry service in the 80s, and today it is the only way to cross on foot from the Bund to Pudong without taking the metro. Okay, Robbie rant. China has over 1.1 million bridges with a total length of 63,366 miles, including the longest overall, longest cable stayed and longest sea crossing bridge, and the highest bridge in the world, which has its own water feature. But to cross the Huangpu River by foot from the Bund to Pudong, it will take 3 hours via bridge to the east. Now, I'm no engineer and I understand why you wouldn't put one in the main part of the Bund, but I'm sure you could design a bridge that is tall enough, closer and will fit in with the view. China, you're masters of this. Imagine if you can check out the sunset Shanghai Tower's Heavenly Gin restaurant and then take a walk along the elevated walkway in Pudong, directly over the river to the Bund to check out the lights. It's brilliant. Anyhow, I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. In the meantime, let me know if you would use a pedestrian bridge from the Bund to Pudong. Okay, the ferry wasn't too bad. At 2 RMB, 30 cents or 22p, it was very cheap, efficient and some great views. Shanghai is truly a city of contrasts, from colonial past to socialist transformation, and now a modern global city. It's a place shaped by history but also the daily lives of the 24 million people who live within it. And that's me done for Shanghai. This time, I will be back. It's an incredible city, definitely worth a visit. Thank you for watching, now get out and about.